Hi, I'm Mike Hughes at Next Level Training. Alright, let's first talk about grip. Before you get into high volume training, we want to make sure your grip is as dialed in as possible. We don't want to have imperfect practice because only perfect practice makes perfect. There are over 100 and some muscles you can contract to engage the gun. The question is which ones and how do we do this and what's the most natural, most intuitive way of grabbing the gun to have muzzle alignment and have trigger finger discipline. So let's jump into it. When you grab your pistol, basically we do not want to get our fingertips engaged. As a drill right off, go ahead and put your thumb out and grab your thumb with your lower 3 fingers. Now basically grab your thumb as if you're grabbing it for dear life, like you're grabbing a rope you have to hang on to. If you notice when your fingertips are pressed in to get that full engagement, see what your little trigger finger does. Now remember, our trigger finger is the finger which pulls the trigger. And we want that trigger finger to be as separated as possible from our grip. If we grip harder, we don't want that to affect our trigger mechanics, which we'll discuss further later on. So we call this the sympathetic response, the sympathetic neural response. When we engage our fingertips, we have that almost uncontrollable movement with our trigger finger. So how do we resolve this? We can resolve this with basically only contracting the necessary muscles to accomplish our desired task. In this case, our desired task is controlling that muzzle with the grip, so the muzzle alignment comes back fairly consistently. So to do that, imagine that you contract in this manner. Make it simple. Just about these first knuckles, just press back. Don't bring your fingertips in. You almost let your fingertips float, so to speak. So to bring this into practical application, when you grab the gun like this, your fingertips are more or less floating and you're pushing fore and aft on the gun. Remember, the recoil acts as in this manner, and to mitigate that muzzle flip or to control that muzzle flip, we want to have the pressure along this front pads. Along the sides doesn't matter much anyway, so we're not losing anything with this, what I call a C-clamp grip. Now, with this C-clamp grip, we notice that there's a canal along here between our base of our thumb and the grip portion. We ought to fill this canal with our support hand. So we take our support hand, we have this same meaty portion in our thumb, and we plug it right in that little canal. The second point is chest squeeze. There are basically 2 main points on grip I want you to remember: the C-clamp and chest squeeze. Because a main deficiency in a lot of shooters is they will actually, through the course of recoil, their grip will slip and slide. This is usually a product of an inappropriate chest pressure behind the gun. Imagine, if you will, that this portion right here of the gun, this little ramp, is a speed bump. And imagine that this is our tire. So, if you will, think of like we have to push a car over the speed bump. Well, if it's a very light, small little car, it's very easy to push over. If it's a 10-ton truck, we just don't have that strength or power to push over it. Well, in this case, we don't want to go over that speed bump. We want to have our little vehicle, our weak hand, our support hand, to remain behind. And the way to put that vehicle into a 10-ton truck is chest squeeze. All right? So think of grabbing the gun more from your chest in this region back here. One further point on grip is take your weak hand, which in my case is my left hand, and instead of having it on the side of the gun, have it roll around just a little bit. You don't need to be way around the gun, but just a little bit behind the gun. This makes that desirable speed bump, as I mentioned. And with your chest pressure, you're going to keep that weak hand in place. You're basically, instead of coming in onto the side and having to rely on friction, you're coming in this rearward portion and you're almost like 90 degrees to the surface, so it makes slippage almost an impossibility. So C-clamp grip, the little canal is there, our thumbs are relaxed. Don't press your thumb down, it doesn't help anything. Again, remember, only recruit the muscles necessary to accomplish the desired task. These kind of muscle contractions with our thumbs they don't help in recoil. All they do is disturb the gun. And when we get more stress or less stress, it changes our natural point of aim. We want to have big dumb muscles behind the gun. Big dumb muscles meaning these main forearm muscles with a C-clamp and a chest squeeze. And my friends, it is really that simple.